welcome to the Jump Podcast. I'm your host, Jumpstart. And in this session here, we're going to get real to the real. We're going to talk about single parents and how hard it is to do it on your own. But a lot of women, and also a lot of men are single parents, and they do a great job. But nobody knows how hard it is to raise kids. Um, and the more kids you have, the more harder it gets. So we here at the Jump Podcast dedicate this session to you guys. So let's get into it, y'all. Keep your heads up. Keep on doing what y'all do. Because you don't do it for you. You do it for your kids.
When I was young, me and my mama had beef, 17 years old, kicked out on the streets. So back at the time, I never thought I'd see her face. Ain't a woman alive that could take my mama's place. She been to school, scared to go home. I was a fool with the big boys, breaking all the rules.
The song says it all, and y'all know it. So we applaud all those single parents in the world, no matter if you're young, you're old, middle age, whatever. It is a hard, hard job, and we applaud you on it. So let's get into it right here in the Jump Podcast. Yeah. So recently, I discovered how many single parents are there. Now at Christmas time, you see all those parents that are single trying to budget, try to keep food on the table and a roof over their head and keeping their kids happy. And a lot of people don't know how hard it really is. It's already hard to have a family today. It's really, really hard. You have two parents trying to make ends meet, and it's rough. But just imagine one parent doing it. You know, it's hard. It's hard, and I'm not. There's multiple reasons why a parent could be alone raising their kids. It could be maybe the husband or the wife is incarcerated, or it could be that the husband or wife lost the love of their life of cancer or murdered or whatever the situation is. There's always a reason. And then there's other reasons when a man don't want to be a man and just have kids and bounce. So there's multiple reasons. But the point is that when a parent does it all alone, who gives them their credit? You know, there's people out there that are doing a good job and doing it well. And I applaud them, you know. And this podcast is dedicating this episode to all those single parents, no matter what your situation was, or no matter, you know, um, how many kids you have. If you're single and you're raising a kid, we know that it's hard. And in this type of year, you got all these holidays coming up, and like Tupac's song says, there's no way to pay you back, but it's planned, you know, was to understand that you are appreciated, So we appreciate also all those single parents. Recently I met a young lady who had 3 kids, real young. The oldest I think was maybe 4, and the youngest was maybe 2 months. And she got evicted and packed up all her things, and it was in the car. And I felt for her. You know, even though I had to do what I had to do as far as my job to support myself and the people around me, um, I kind of thought, wow, you know, here she is, doing the best she could, and now she got another roadblock in her way to knock down so she can raise those kids. I personally know a few people that raising kids, and believe you me, my heart goes out to y'all. You know, um, you definitely got to keep your head up. You definitely got to know that God is behind you and God is watching, and God would never give you more than you can handle. You know, and looking at those kids, I could imagine, you saying, I got to get up in the morning. I got to go to work. I'm probably sick, but I still got to do what I got to do, you know? And also to those fathers that are single, they got to deal with the same situations. And no matter if you're a man or a female, it's still hard, you know? It's still hard. You got to make sure they wake up in the morning. You got to make sure they eat. You got to make sure they go to school. You got to make sure they do good in school. And then after school, you got to make sure you got to pick them up and take them home. Then you got to, deal with your job situation or your personal things, you know. Um, so I truly, truly understand that. And I know the world, are probably saying, man, I'm so glad somebody's talking about this because they're unsung heroes to need to be rewarded, you know? And I dedicate, like I said, this episode to y'all, you know, and we're gonna have some fun, and we're gonna talk about something, that is going on here in America, you know. It's crazy that the government has money for wars, has money to pay other countries for goods that coming in here, you know, but we don't really think about the people that are here that are raising kids. And with the rents going high, with the food going crazy high, you go to a Walmart, you go to a Publix, and you'll spend $100 and maybe get like a bag or two. You know, the food drives are numbered with the people that come in asking for help. You know, and I think this government needs to worry about. And I've always said this about home front. Home front should always come first. You know, with everything else it should be second or third. You got these veterans that go to these wars for us, so we have the right or the liberty to say what we want to say. But we have to think about who goes out there to make it possible for us to do what we gotta, do here and say what we want to say. You know, um, and let me tell you something: the politicians don't give a heck. You know, because they're not in those shoes. You know, and we as people have to pick the right person in charge so they can work for us and not the other way around. Um, touchy subject here, man. I love touching the touchy subjects because this is what makes us different from everybody else. Because people are afraid to touch these kinds of subjects, but I'm not, because it's the truth and it's what's going on here in the world. My heart goes out to all of y'all that are alone in raising your family. And just want you to know that there's help out there. There really is help. There's people, there's foundations, and those are the ones we need to help. You know, I remember one day I was riding my bike and I was kind of deciding of what am I going to do and what I'm going to eat. And I cross this corner and I see a whole bunch of tents and people in front of the tents. And I said, man, I'm worried about what I'm going to eat. And these people don't know when the next meal is coming. So what I did was I called a friend that had a car. He came and met me, and I asked him not to ask no questions. And I went to the nearest Little Caesars, and I brought like maybe 20 pizza pies and out of my money, and got some water, filled it up in his car, and went back to the spot and gave everybody a pie. You know, my job at that time was not to ask any questions. I didn't feel that me asking was going to help them in anything. But when I passed out the pizza, there was one person who was like, "Oh my God, I haven't eaten in days, and my husband is sick," and I just felt so bad. And I fed them and spoke to them, and I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I haven't forgotten y'all. And then recently, I saw this lady in a Family Dollar that was on a checkout line, and she had like, I think it was like 4 kids, and you know, as the lady was ringing, I could see in her face that she didn't have enough, and she was putting things to the side that I know she needed, and at the end, I told the lady, "Hold on," and she looked at me puzzled, and I told the cashier, "I want you to ring all that stuff um that you that she put on the side." And I told the lady why the lady was ringing all the stuff she put in the side. She put a good amount. And I said to the lady, let me see your receipt for a minute. And she gave me the receipt, and she was still puzzled at what I was doing. And she gave me the receipt, and I reached in my pocket, and it was the exact amount that she had on the receipt. And reached in my pocket, got the money, and gave it to her back. And to see the smile and the tears coming out that lady's face, and remind you there was other people around me, and they all started to applaud me and hug me and say this and say that, and I was like the talk of the whole store. And now my intentions was never to do that. My intentions was to help somebody that I saw that was really struggling. And I know how it is to struggle. I know how it is to be homeless. I know how it is to have problems and things in your mind. And I felt that I had to give back. And after she got her groceries and her money, she couldn't stop thanking me And she told the kids to give me a hug. And the only thing she could say is, how can I repay you? How can I repay you? And I was like, hun, this is not something I'm doing for you to repay me. This is not something for me to get your number or to try to get with you. I'm doing this because if everybody in the world was to do this, imagine what kind of world we would have. You know what I mean? So this podcast now for on anything that's merchandise sold that's supposed to come to the podcast will actually go to help people, families. And I'm not just saying this and not going to show y'all. We're going to go live. We're going to pay for somebody's groceries, or we're going to go to the nearest shelter and actually give back to the community. You know, like I said, we're not doing this is to do this for any kind of glory. We're doing this because we're Americans and we need to help our own by all means necessary. So remember, any shirt you buy, any cup, any coaster, anything you buy, the money will be put on the side. And if it's $100 or whatever it is, we're going to take that money and we're going to pick a spot and we're going to go live and we're going to pay and make somebody's day. And we're going to show you the receipt. We're not to rip nobody off. This is not a game. And together, all of us are going to make somebody happy and give back to the community. You know, I don't believe in just, saying we're going to do something and to get clout. I'm not that kind of person that say I'm going to do something and not going to do it. Anybody that knows me knows that what I say I'm going to do, and I promise y'all, anything that's sold, like I said, will go to the nearest shelter, family in the grocery store, or anywhere I feel that somebody really needs it. Because there's people out there now that abuse the system. And then there's people out there that need the system, but the ones that abuse it are messing it up for the ones that really need it. So we're gonna be careful what we do, and careful who we give back to. Again, this is dedicated to everybody that's a single parent, no matter what age, what color. And so long as you live here in America, we're going to do it. And hopefully I can do it state by state. And maybe put something together like, I don't like to call, feed the homeless or nothing like that. So we're going to call it Feed the Streets, because we are the streets. We're not rich. We're not, with a silver spoon in our mouth. We know how it is to struggle, and we're going to do something good. And with that said, I'm going to keep it slow because it was in my mind. And I felt I'm going to share it with my audience, with my family, with my friends, and maybe with the whole wide world. So we're going to put this on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify. And remember, anything that's bought, we're gonna give back. We're gonna give back to the people we need it. So y'all remember, be kind to one another. Love one another. And respect one another. And you see how things turn around. I'm your host, Jumpstart. Until next time, family, thank you for tuning in. We're gonna come at y'all with another episode this week. And oh yeah, we're taking over, baby. Peace.